We did a very nice comparison between the Boss Katana Mini and the Nix amplifier and also a Black Star Fly. And in this video we're going to run three sort of very standard basic popular types of guitar. Basically the Fender Strat, the Gibson Les Paul and a Paul Reed Smith, just to hear how this amplifier responds with different guitars playing through it. So let's plug in the first one. We'll start with the Strat and let's see what the results are. Just up close, showing you the Boss Katana again, and a standard Fender Stratocaster with single coils. We're going to run through clean channel in the first test, and then we'll go through systematically through the different guitars so you can hear the different tonalities as the different types of pickups respond to the amplifier. Here we go. First, an overview of the amplifier. As you can see, the EQ, bass, mid and treble all set to flat. In other words, in the middle, gain also in the middle. We have to start somewhere, and we'll switch the echo off. And let's see what it sounds like. Nice clean sound, very warm for such a small little speaker and amplifier. This really sounds big. So I can definitely maybe think one of these in the foreseeable future for myself. Very, very nice. Nice clean chords as well. And obviously if you change the gain, you can see my fingers move across there. If you change the gain, you can sort of get it more acoustic, compensate for the volume a bit there. And you can get it maybe sounding more like... So you can hear how your gain warms up and almost sort of starts leaning towards a very slight hint of overdrive. So it's nice to play with your gain control on clean sound as well, especially if you want to get like a hint of a dirty sort of overdrive like we mentioned. Especially for those little double stops. Now we're using the Strat basically on the second position, so you're running the neck and middle pickup. And it's sounding pretty cool so far. We're going to switch to middle and back pickup. So I found this little Boss Katana really captures the Strat sound very, very well. The next step now is we want to add some delay to it to see how the amplifier gives a bit of a three-dimensional sound. You can see on the right hand side the delay level. I've taken it to just before the 12 o'clock mark. So it gives me quite a nice prominent delay. And let's see what it sounds like now. And the echo just gives a nice sort of live dynamic to it. It sounds more, at lack of better terminology, more professional, more like you probably hear something on an album. So with your delay, if I switch the delay off, you can see my fingers at the top there, turning it down. Totally dead, totally flat. So if you're going to get a practice amp, try and make sure that it's got either a delay or a reverb, or even both. If it's got both, that's really first place. You can hear the difference, even with chords. Take the echo off and it just dries it up too much. So it's nice to have this specific feature. Now I'm going to plug in the Les Paul now so we can hear this sound, how it changes with a humbucker. And here's the Les Paul standard we're going to use with the amplifier. Nothing special, nothing modded. There's the pickups, the humbuckers, and let's see what this sounds like through the same settings, same delay, and we can compare. Now with the Les Paul, obviously the pickups have got a bit more of a higher gain output, so I've got the Katana back at the same settings that I had for the Strat. In other words, you can see the gain over here is sitting at 12 o'clock in the tone control. I haven't even touched those yet, because you want to get the amplifier sort of within reason, its purest form. No pedals, no effects, just straight dry so you can compare them. Here's your Les Paul. Very, very beautiful clean sound as well. Nice tone. the only difference over here is with the Les Paul having a more powerful pickup. If you're doing like a rhythm, obviously your hint of overdrive becomes a bit more predominant, a bit quicker, because obviously the louder the pickup, the higher the gain of the pickup, the more it boosts the amp. So to compensate, maybe take the gain down a bit. You can see my finger there. And to compensate, the volume up a little bit again, and you get more of a sort of acousticy, sort of more of a cleaner sound. Now, one of the things that boggled my mind quite a bit when I thought I knew guitars was when I learned that Dave Gilmour used a Les Paul for his solo on Another Brick in the Wall, and he's always known for the beautiful black Strat of his. So that blew my mind a bit, and you're not listening to a Les Paul. Okay, I'm going to start adding the echo on again just to have a bit of a comparison. So we got the same fair playground level, pretty much the same setting, and you can hear so again, very, very nice with the delay. You heard the difference between a Strat and a Les Paul. Let's try PRS now, because it'll be slightly different, and you can make up your own call which you think is better. And the PRS, as promised, same amplifier, same settings, and let's see how she features up. And it's Paul Reed Smith time. It's at this point I also want to say thank you to Music Varel for their help with setting up these demos. These amplifiers and all the guitars that I'm playing, actually the guitars are purchased from Music Varel because they're just the best, and the amplifiers are stock that they carry that we're busy reviewing. But anyway, enough talking, and thank you to Music Varel. Let's go. Listening to a PRS now, running both pickups. Obviously the humbucker again, so it's a bit more higher output, but not as high as the Les Paul, so you can actually play with the gain a bit more over there, and you've got a bit more sort of headroom, if you want to call it that, because the pickup's not as loud, so you can play a bit more with your gain if you want a bit more bass and get something like this, for example. You can hear the overdrive kicking in a lot better now, and I haven't changed channel yet. I'm just compensating on the volume and playing with the gain control. So overall, you've heard the Strat, you've heard the Les Paul, you're now listening to a PRS. I'm going to try and thin the gain down a bit there. Here's your PRS. Also a beautiful sound. Now the purpose over here was to review the amplifiers, not the guitars, even though I love the guitars. Okay, and I must be honest, this Boss Katana does the three different guitars really, really well. So what I'm trying to say is, whether you're playing a powerful humbucker or more sort of a contained humbucker, if that's the correct word, or not as actively aggressive humbucker, or you're playing a single coil, this amplifier looks after all the three basics really, really, really well. So I'm loving this little piece of machinery. It's a lovely instrument. It works well with all the guitars so far, and I could sit here for hours and sit and ramble on and talk and demo, but that's not the point. We want to now try the overdrives and the distortion so you can get a bit of a feel for how versatile this amplifier can get. Okay, the Strat's plugged in again, and you can see I've switched the switch over here from clean to crunch. The gain is sitting about, we'll start at, let's say, about 10 o'clock over there, and it's going to take you through the different sort of sounds. Some power chords. It's got a nice growl while still maintaining the acoustic sound through it. So you can hear the hint of the overdrive, but the clear sound is still pulling through well. I'm going to take the gain now to say around about 1 o'clock. You can see the settings over here just to verify it. You can see the gain has changed. And now we're going to have this. Maybe change the back pickup. And also very, very nice. You can still hear the essence of the guitar's clean tone. But you can hear the overdrive working quite nicely, which is a very good mark of a nice amp, that you can actually get the effect of the overdrive but still maintain the quality of the instrument, the guitar you're playing. I'm going to take it now to 3 o'clock. You can see the gain's getting quite a bit higher now. And let's see how this sounds. And you've got a really nice rock sound over there, nice crunch to it, nice clean tone, clean crunch, if that makes any sense. It's like saying clear distortion, but it's a quality, clean crunch. It's a very nice, it's not fuzzy, it's not loose, it's got nice definition. So 10 out of 10 for the so far. We're now going to go to taking the gain down, and we're going to take the little switch all the way up to which is brown. Now, brown is basically like a type of overdrive distortion. I think it's more distortion actually. So it's a bit of a different tonality, but it's best to actually just play it, I guess. You can hear now getting more of a hard rock sound. Nice tone to it. So you can hear the difference between an overdrive, more mellow crunch sort of sound. Then just to flicker the switch without changing any gain, you can hear how the guitar gets a bit more aggressive thanks to the gain. Now we're going to take it all the way to about 3 o'clock again. And again with the single coil from the Strat, that you're always going to get a hint of clarity coming through. It's never going to have quite that aggressive sort of Ozzy Osbourne heavy metal type of tonality to it, but it's got a very cool rock sound to it, and you can still kick on to nice 80s metal. And that's basically a Stratocaster with the different settings through a Boss Katana Mini. Okay, we're now going to switch to the Les Paul, so we can expect something different now, I would imagine. Les Paul is back, humbucker is much more powerful, running on the neck pickup now. Nice crunch, you can hear it sort of loses that single coil twang, obviously because it's a Les Paul, not a Strat now, but also very, very nice clean sound. Again, you can hear the essence of the pickup. You can hear the notes, you can hear the strings. So the quality that this amplifier is basically interpreting from your guitar makes it, in my books, probably one of the nicest practice amps I've come across. Let's take it again a bit higher, and you can hear it getting a bit more aggressive now. You can see my fingers in the top left-hand corner. They're going to sue me for that riff. Let them deal with it. Okay, but you can hear now the quality of the rock kicking in a lot more with the Les Paul. And if I switch it to the back pickup, you can hear the click now, hopefully. That was the click, pickup change. Nice. Nice sort of crunchy sound to it. And if you take it all the way to gain is at full. And it doesn't sound that far from an old school Marshall. It's obviously not, but it sounds pretty close to it. Now we're going to take the gain down, and we're going to go all the way to your brown, in other words your distortion. You can take the gain about 3 o'clock again, or sorry, 9 o'clock, sort of quarter to, which is quite nice if you like Santana. So you get a nice sort of warm sound to it, especially if you take it to front pickup. I like that one specifically. Nice for the Gary Moore tone as well. And speaking of Gary Moore, let's see what Parisian walkways would sound like, taking the gain all the way up, slowing down the tone a bit, or the echo, sorry, the delay. So you get this. Take a bit louder maybe. And let's see what this sounds like. Now I was actually quite impressed with that. For a small little amplifier, it sounds like quite a big stack of speakers. So I'm really enjoying just demoing this and playing this and sharing this with you. I hope you're enjoying the sound as much as I am. And bottom line is the Boss Katana so far is working very well. And I'm playing a lot of familiar riffs that you know, so you can hear what you might expect and compare it to reference points that you might have been familiar with or heard in the past. So basically, for such a small little machine with minimal controls, when we haven't even touched the EQ yet, you're getting a huge tonal variety of awesomeness happening with this. So it's getting quite a nice bite to it. Okay, to finish it off, we're going to now switch on to the PRS and see what that can do for us. PRS is back in line again. Now, the PRS, obviously, with the humbuckers with a bit of gain, is going to arguably sound very similar to the Les Paul. And it'd be interesting to have some professionals do a blind test on the two guitars and say, are you listening to a Les Paul or a PR Smith? But the PRS sounding pretty cool as well. Again, we haven't touched the tone controls. Obviously, you can make it a bit more smoother if you sit and take the bass up, or you can EQ the mids. You can play with it. So we could spend hours actually playing with a small little amplifier with no more than basically 7 controls, which is quite impressive. Take the gain up, and you can hear it's got that nice sort of warm, nice for blues sort of vibes. Nice sort of sounded, nice crunch. And again, if you want to get the brown sound going, your overdrive distortion, maybe back pickup, and you hear the clicking. Nice for pinch the mic. So it's a really big sounding amplifier for a small little box. In short, would I recommend the Katana Mini? Yes, I would. I think it's awesome. There's a lot of other equally good brands on the market as well. So you've got choice, and that's the cool thing about the amplifiers on the market nowadays. There's a lot of very good stuff out there, of which this Katana is definitely one of them. If you want more revs, maybe consider one of the bigger ones, like the Boss Katana 50, for example, the Mark II. A lot more features, but for now, that's me saying goodbye. I hope you really enjoyed and got some value out of this video. And Music Farrell, you guys rock. Thanks again for being able to test this out. Have an awesome week. Cheers.